This is our monitor, which will be used for connecting the Raspberry Pi. Before making the connection, please make sure that the monitor power supply is off. Now, let me show you the Raspberry Pi 4 which we have bought recently. It has 8 GB RAM. These two are USB 2.0 ports and this is USB 3.0 ports. And this is the Ethernet port. Thereafter, this is a 3.5 mm audio jack. Thereafter, we have the official Raspberry Pi camera connector port. Next, these two are the micro HDMI connectors. We can use any of them. And this is the power supply port which supports Type-C connectors. On this side, we have the GPIO pins which are used to connect different kinds of sensors and actuators. Upon inverting, you will find the SD card slot. Here you need to insert the micro SD card. This is our power supply adapter, but we will connect it at the end after connecting all the peripherals with the Raspberry Pi. So let's connect our keyboard first with the USB 2.0 port. Then connect the mouse. Next, we need to connect the HDMI cable of the monitor. But we can't connect it directly. And for this solution, we are using this micro HDMI converter. So connect it with the monitor cable first. And then connect it with any of these two micro HDMI ports of the Raspberry Pi. When it fits, it will make a sound. Here you should keep something below the Raspberry Pi device as a support. Please make sure that you don't have metal or any electrical conductivity device under the base, since this may cause short circuit the Raspberry Pi soldering joints. Now we will insert the burned OS SD card into the Raspberry Pi. So pull this SD card out from this adapter and then invert the Raspberry Pi and thereafter insert the micro SD card in the SD card slot. Push it slowly to fit the SD card properly. After this, keep it back. Now let's connect the power supply. This is a Type-C cable and we need to connect it with its respective port. This is the micro HDMI port and you should not get confused here while connecting the power supply. This port which is on the corner is the power supply port. So connect the power supply to it. Now let's give power to our Raspberry Pi. This one is the power supply for the monitor. This one is for the Raspberry Pi. So first turn on the monitor switch and then the Raspberry Pi power switch. Now you can see both devices got the power supply. At first, the monitor will show a no signal message, and if everything is fine, then it will show the boot window. Don't worry if you see the boot window and display turning on and off multiple times. This is because of the first boot. Also, on the hardware side, you will notice that both the LEDs are blinking. The red one remains on, but the green LED is blinking continuously. So, it will hardly take 3 to 5 minutes to complete the booting. Upon successful boot, you will see this SSH warning message on the Raspberry Pi screen. Just ignore this by clicking on this OK button. So this is how our Raspberry Pi default screen looks like. On the right corner of the screen, you will find a Wi-Fi icon. Upon clicking, you will see the Raspberry Pi has scanned all the nearby Wi-Fi networks which are in range, and my Wi-Fi with the name Skynet is connected automatically. This is because we have already mentioned the Wi-Fi credentials during OS burning. Then this is the calendar which is displaying the current date. Next, let us click on the Raspberry Pi icon which gives the menu. From here, you can open the internet browser. By default, the Raspberry Pi website has been opened. Now, let us check whether our internet is working or not. I am visiting fast.com, and as you can see, the web page is loading properly. Now close this. Click on the Start menu again. Then click on Programming, and then we will find two programming editors present here. We will go ahead with Thonny editor. Just click on it and the Thonny IDE will open immediately. Now let's test a small Python program. On clicking on Run, we will get the output in this cell window. So the full setup of Raspberry Pi 4 has been done.